Breonna Taylor, and I say her name, we're going to fight for justice for that too. Rayshard Brooks in Atlanta falls asleep in the drive-thru or parking lot, whichever they say, of Wendy's. Someone inside called the police. Someone inside that works at Wendy's calls the police. The police comes. Rayshard's last, 15, 20 minutes of his life are played out on video before all of us, just like the George Floyd. He's very cordial to the police, very nice. He's not trying to go to jail, he's trying to get back to his family. A scuffle ensues. He ends up escaping with the taser that they tried to fire at him, and he runs away. And one of the officers ends up shooting him in the back. Protect and serve. The question is, protect and serve who? So the higher ups in Atlanta, because the police force, they actually investigate themselves, internal affairs and everything. They investigate their own policemen. So it's like my son getting in trouble, and I, as a parent, gets to look at everything and investigate what he did and then decide the punishment. So a whole bunch of interesting things going on around it. You had the black officer come up, ask the white officers how are they doing, how's the family, how's your wife, or whatever. Everything's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. We're going to take care of it. You're cool. It's that blue shield. That's them blue colors. That's the biggest gang. Y'all think the Bloods and the Crips are a big gang? Y'all think the white supremacists are a big gang? They can't mess with the police. The police are full force together. But you got to be in uniform. If your black ass ain't in uniform, you going to catch hell, because you've had people in the protests, policemen that weren't in uniform. They've been getting their asses kicked by the police. Police don't want to hear it. Getting their ass kicked, and then they find out later that you're a fellow officer that works in their area. They're like, oh, okay, well, we didn't know. Anyway, Rayshard Brooks, I believe he's a husband of and a father of 4. And whether he was intoxicated or on medication or just super sleepy, the police should be called for emergencies. Come on now. People call the police for some of the most frivolous things. I don't care what you have to do. You know it's not your job. But bang on that window and get him to go park at something right next door, 15, 20 feet to the side, so he won't, clog up the traffic. But to call the police for that, and then for the police to revert to what they did. So I learned in college about police having the responsibility of defusing situations. Well, this situation was never up. So anything that came up, the police pretty much brought to the table. You got a sleepy 27-year-old. That's the issue. That's what's going on. There's no harm in that. And what's interesting is, no, the police don't have to do certain things, but there's certain things they can do if they're human. All you gotta do is use common sense. This man lived with a block or 2 away from the Wendy's, from what they say. He lives right over here. All they had to do was get him home, knock on the door and say, look here, he's intoxicated, whatever. We could have arrested him. We could have taken him downtown and he'd be locked up for a couple of days. But here, we drove him here. The car's around such and such. Make sure he's careful. He gets off with a warning this time. That's simple. What happened to Officer Friendly? I don't know if it's just these 2 guys, but there are some friendly officers out there, but we need more. So, no, it wasn't the smartest decision for him to run away. And it definitely wasn't a smart decision to take the taser, because that is sort of creating a gray area for them to try to get the officers not to get so much attention placed on what they did. They're trying to say, oh, what they did was perfectly legal because he had the taser. And they're saying he fired the taser at the police. But with tasers, you got to be pretty close. I believe 4 to 12 feet. You know what I'm saying? In order for them little wires to hit you and then stick. Because the wires aren't but so long. And then you have to not just be close enough, but if he's running away, that means he's creating distance between him and the two policemen. So when he got up and ran off, the two policemen were still on the ground. So they had to get up and follow behind him. Now, if he was really firing a taser, the taser only fires once. Once the little wires are deployed or whatever, it can no longer be of any use. So they said he fired the taser and it missed them, of course. So why they got to shoot the man? What happened to the foot chase? They weren't in the mood. 8 o'clock at night, they don't feel like chasing the brother. Why do you have to kill? Why does it have to be fatal? This is some straight up bull. And shot him in the back. So if you shoot somebody in the back, that means his back is turned. So how did he really give an effort to fire the taser? So you had ample time. You knew what you were doing. And as a matter of fact, you look back at the video, and I didn't watch the last second. I didn't want to hear the gunshots or whatever, but that officer's pulling that gun out early. As soon as pretty much when he began chasing him, he pulling that gun out. So he knew what he was going to do. He shot the man in the back. That's super cowardly. Unless that man has a gun, he's about to attack somebody else. That's cowardly. And then they're saying he could have took the taser and went and attacked somebody else. That man wasn't attacking anybody. He wasn't attacking the police. He was escaping the police. He didn't punch them. He didn't get them in a chokehold. He didn't need them. He was escaping. He was getting away from them. So he was actually still respectful when he's trying to get away. He could have punched him dead in the nose or tried to knock him out. No, he was respectful to him. He was like, nah, get off me, and then took off. And then what happens? You got the sad daughter, you got the wife sad, the son, the family just sad. And now you got 4 kids that are growing up without their father. So shout out to Tyler Perry for saying he's going to take care of the funeral arrangements and take care of college for the kids. But they would much rather have their father, for real. So yes, Tyler did a great thing, or 2 great things that he's doing, but it shouldn't have came down to this. He should have just went ahead and went to jail. Yes, they could have just went ahead and took him home instead of trying to lock him up. And what do you get for the person in Wendy's to call the police? They burned it down. Wendy's was on fire, and now you got everybody all hyped up again. So Mayor Bottoms, she was saying, nah, not in Atlanta, we don't do this. Killer Mike, nah, not in Atlanta, we don't do this. T.I., nah, not in Atlanta, we don't do this. And then these police do the same thing like they did when they snatched the kids out the car. Brutality. And this brutality ended up being a fatality. So I guess they do it in Atlanta. And you got officers being fired. You got officers holding kids at gunpoint and everything. And they say that was cool. Hopefully his finger wasn't on the trigger. I didn't look closely at that one, but that's a 17-minute video of a white officer holding 5 or 6 black kids at gunpoint. They're like 12, 13, 14, 15. And one of them had a BB gun and he threw it in the bushes or something. They out there playing around. And they don't realize how serious it is, but they realize it is now. But it's not just Minneapolis, LA, and DC, Maryland, New York. It's everywhere, including Atlanta. And Atlanta is the black mecca. But you take your ass outside of them Atlanta borders, boy, you talking about some hillbilly, redneck, Confederate flag toting, waving, shotgun having white people. Some hateful white people, for real. It can be real scary, man. I went to I don't know if I told y'all this. I went to this backwoods place. It was right off the road. And you know, when you in your early 20s, you do some brave stuff. I just went in there. I was like, F it. And shot some pool messing with this girl. Me and this girl hooked up. We were friends online and finally meeting for the first time. And we just went in there, shot some pool, had a soda or something. But the size of the Confederate flag on the wall next to us. And I stayed there for that. That's the only time. And I actually stayed there and shot a couple of games of pool and talked trash with her, and then ended up rolling out. I made sure I rolled out before it got dark. I ain't let too much time get behind me. But I was driving from Atlanta to Tampa. But yeah, when all this stuff being burned down and people rioting in protest, because rioting is a way of protest, depending on who it is. But that's swift and quick action. So anytime something happens, man, you got these trickle down effects. You got NBA players who don't want to play ball because this murder just happened with Rayshard Brooks. You have other things in society, businesses affected. Man, these murders affect everybody, but these cops just don't get it. And they're actually going to the Mayor Bottom's house and with a megaphone and marching out there her house, making her family uncomfortable when they should be at that officer's door. They should be at both of the officer that shot him. They should be at his doorstep making that noise. They should be in his, well, I ain't gonna say what they should do, but he should be the one inconvenienced, not the mayor, because the mayor is firing people, cops who get out of line. So it's a whole bunch of mess. But Rayshard Brooks, man, I wish the cops would have made, I wish you would have made a better decision initially, instead of getting intoxicated or under the influence of whatever, just so sleepy. I actually fell asleep in the drive-thru one time. It was only for like 2 minutes, but real late at night. Yeah, but and I wasn't intoxicated, but I wish he hadn't been intoxicated. I wish the police would have made a better decision, and I wish Rayshard would have made a second better decision and not ran off, man. So another brother lost, another family mourns, more rioting, another police murder. Oh boy, it's a lot to digest, but that's it for me. And thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it, man. But you're going to get through all this kind of stuff. There's a lot more to cover. And I got some other videos coming up. So we're going to cover all this craziness. I'm Money Green. Talk to me. Make money, money, go shopping. Soon another video will be dropping.